What's up everybody, Wiggs here, and today I'm bringing you guys a video comparing the Xbox One versus the PlayStation 4, being that both of these consoles are going to be released within the next week or two, depending on where you live. It's really time to make your decision, and hopefully I can help you guys make that decision. When I first heard about the Xbox One and all the specs in it, I was a little on edge, because for me, I came from an Xbox background. I've been with Xbox ever since the original Xbox. I also had a PlayStation 2 back in the day, but I really found my heart and home in the Xbox community, and that's where I wanted to stay. Now, when I first heard about the specs, when they launched them and everything like that, I was annoyed and I was a little angry at them because they weren't living up to the expectations that I thought they could. PlayStation 4 knocked them way out of the park, but now I think it's a closer decision, and you guys really got to dive deep into the specs and understand what they mean. It's definitely, Xbox and Microsoft closed the gap, and that's what's making it a hard decision for me. So first of all, I want to start off by talking about the PlayStation 4 and what is inside of it. First of all, let's talk about the processor. It's a single chip main processor, and the CPU, which is like the brains of the computer, is a 64-bit AMD Jaguar with 8 cores. Now, if you know nothing about computers, that probably sounds like a foreign language to you, but to me, 8 cores, that's like a normal computer. Hopefully they can utilize all 8 of those cores and you don't have to optimize them or anything like that. But a 64-bit with 8 cores, that's just like a computer. Now, the graphics card, this is what kind of led me towards the PlayStation 4, but I'll talk about that later. The graphics card right now has a 1.84 teraflop AMD Radeon GPU, and if you know nothing about that, once again, I'll talk to you about it in a little bit. But the memory has 8 gigabytes of RAM. Now, if you guys had a PlayStation 3 previously, you know that you could not get on things kind of like the Xbox Live Party. You couldn't do that because it didn't have enough RAM to support it. And if you got more than like 10 messages at a time on PlayStation, it would automatically freeze your console and you have to reboot it. So now with the more RAM, it'll be better. Also, the PlayStation 4 has a built-in hard drive of 500 gigabytes, a Blu-ray and DVD player. It's capable of USB 3.0, which is also backwards compatible for USB 2.0, a Bluetooth, an HDMI and optical output. Now let's talk about the controller. I'm not a fan of the PlayStation's controllers. I have big hands. I'm a big guy, a tall guy, but I didn't really like the PlayStation's controllers because it was too small. They made them bigger. Now, how much bigger? I don't know. I haven't held one yet, but I heard it's a substantial size bigger. It has a share button, so you can share videos right away on there. They have a light bar, just a cool little feature that lights up. Built-in speaker on the controller. I think that's pretty impressive, and a touchpad. So this is the first controller that I've ever heard of with a touchpad. Not a touch screen, a touchpad, so don't get that confused. Similar to the Xbox Kinect, it has a camera which is capable of 1080p images. Now here's another main thing that you guys need to know. In order to play on PlayStation online with friends and things like that, you are going to have to pay a $50 a year subscription. So that might be something that you guys want to check into. Now, granted, that shouldn't hurt your pocket too much because the PlayStation 4 is $100 cheaper than the Xbox One. It's going to be selling at around $400 compared to the Xbox One, which is going to be $500 on launch day. Some of the 2 launch titles that are going to be pretty big for the PlayStation 4 are Killzone and Need for Speed, and they're just exclusives that come out on the launch day. So there's obviously going to be more games that are going to be good after that. But they're like the 2 main ones that everyone's looking forward to for the PlayStation 4. Now let's talk about the Xbox One. The Xbox One has similar components to the processor of the PlayStation 4. It has an 8-core, 64-bit processor, but here's what I was talking about the GPU. In the Xbox One, the GPU is an AMD series Sea Island. It has less hardware in it than the PlayStation 4's GPU, so less little components that make it worse than the PS4. The memory is 8 gigabytes of RAM, 500 gigabytes HDD, which is the hard drive, same as the PlayStation 4. It has a Blu-ray player. The Kinect. Let's talk about the Kinect. Now, I bought a Kinect just to have fun with it when the Xbox came out, or when the Kinect came out for the Xbox. But now they updated it and they made it better. It has a larger field of view, and it has an IR camera on it, an infrared camera, so you can see into the dark. It sees into the dark. It has 3D geometry to tell you if you're off balance or anything like that, but don't get that confused. Like it doesn't have 3D. It's just, that's kind of like the system that they're using, the software that they're using, 3D geometry. And it's voice controlled, just like the other one. The controller, now the only thing that I had problems with the other old controller is a D-pad, and they improved that apparently. They have impulse triggers, they call them, and it's slightly larger from the looks of it. And the other cool feature that they added to the controller is the controller knows when you pick it up and who picks it up. I don't know if that's a rumor, but that's what I've seen on their website. So it knows which person picks up the controller, and it will like link it to you. I'm not sure how that works yet. It could just be simply it would vibrate or something when you pick it up. I don't know. Now, obviously, this Xbox, like I talked previously about, is going to be $500. And then tax, obviously, and you're going to have to pay $60 a year, as usual, to play on Xbox Live. One thing that I was very, very concerned about when the Xbox first released all their specs is that you had to have a Kinect in order to play the game, or in order to play the console, and it would always be on. But now, after hearing so many complaints, they finally realized that they made the wrong decision and that they did change it. So I'm happy to confirm, finally, that the Xbox Kinect is not required to function for the Xbox One. Let's talk about the launch titles now. Some of the most exclusive launch titles coming out on day one will be like Dead Rising and Rise. Obviously, there's going to be Call of Duty Ghost and Battlefield for both PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So let's talk about that for a second. Recently, about a day ago now, depending on when you're looking at this video, there have been rumors up to this point of people who have been playing on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One with Call of Duty Ghost, obviously. Now, I know nothing about Battlefield on this, but people have been posting images and videos side by side of the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 and the graphics. Now, if you know anything about the specs or the graphics card, how I explained earlier how the PlayStation 4 has more hardware in it to make the graphics look better, what PlayStation 4 is advertising is that the PlayStation 4 is true 1080p, and the Xbox One is 720p stretched to make it look 1080p. And people have been posting these videos and pictures saying that the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 look almost identical, and that if someone put a gun to their head, they could never figure out which one is which. That's a good thing. That's a good thing for Xbox fanboys like myself, because that's one thing that I was worried about, was the graphics. And I mean, who doesn't want better graphics? If you can spend a little bit extra money, well, in this case it would be less money for better graphics, why wouldn't you do it? But I'm here to inform you guys that you don't even have to do that, because both of them look identical. Now, people have reported that while playing Call of Duty Ghost on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, that the frame drop has been pretty significant to the naked eye while playing on the PlayStation 4, which means it's kind of like lag, but it's not connection based. Frame dropping looks like lag, but it doesn't have anything to do with your connection. It has to do with the pixel ratio of the game. Now, that doesn't mean that the PlayStation 4 is worse. It just means that maybe Call of Duty Ghost didn't code properly to the PlayStation 4. Once again, these are brand new consoles, and games like Call of Duty have been coding to the Xbox One, or the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 for a couple years now, so they used a little bit more advanced software, obviously, but these consoles have been out for 7 years now, so it's a lot easier to code to than a newer, brand new console. So, especially when you're coding for 1080p. So it might be a lot harder to code for the PlayStation than it is for the Xbox right now for Call of Duty. I doubt that in the future they're going to have frame rate drop issues like this, but that's just something to look forward to and look into when making your decision. So comment down below, guys. Let me know what console you're going to buy, and that's it for today. Hope I helped you guys out and helped you make a decision. Peace!